Hey everybody, it's Marty the Party here. I got my buddy Rhett back there, just chiming in. She enjoys this a lot. I guess I have my browser a little big, so let's go ahead and fix that. Refresh it so it fits nicely. So we have a big old box. Our box is a lot bigger than it used to be, and the reason was because I believe it was because this full frustrum was 70 before, and we changed it to 50. And the reason we changed it to 50 is because it is the default for a perspective camera. The default is 50, and the reason it's that 50 is the default is that's most like the human eye, apparently. So there's that. Now it's like I had mentioned in yesterday's video. I had some stuff that I thought I don't know if that looks exactly right, and I was setting the widths and the heights and all that, and I remember just being like, I don't know, I don't think so, I don't know if this looks exactly right, I don't know why, and I'm wondering now if it's the was it the frustrum should have been 50, and I believe I probably had it hard coded to 70 back back in the day. All right, so I guess so. Basically, one of the things like drop dead things that has to come into this application as soon as possible is like an import export functionality. And import export, I was thinking, is kind of funny because like it seems like it's like many things in software development where like you say, oh, import export, but it is actually way more um, convoluted than that because like are we importing a whole scene, are we importing or I mean an entire renderer sort of description, or are we importing um, various renderers, like let's say I have three different renderers. That's one of the things I want to have, and they're all up here, and let's say I want all three of them. um, like would that could that just be an import that does all three, or and also can I just import a single thing like um, um, a mesh? Because like I've probably had, I don't know, a couple, maybe a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen comments on over the year or so that I've been working on this, year and a half, and I would say the majority of them, probably more than half of them, are directly about trying to import something, some format that, and that format is for a specific mesh. It's all about the meshes. I think um, the lighting and all that other stuff is cool, but I think the meshes rule. I believe when 3GS was kind of built, it was more about like trying to emulate maybe something like a movie, like in the movie, you have cameras and stuff. But I think that the idea of meshes is, or yeah, objects as individual objects has like become much bigger. But I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I think. um, One thing I do remember thinking yesterday is like I want to have my renderer and my camera should have IDs, that I have. That's one of the things that I definitely want these things to have. But I guess it doesn't make sense until I have a function that creates one of these renderers and one of these cameras. Right now we're just sort of specking it all out. But so, anyways, I think the best thing at this point will be to start with to add a geometry interface. We have a camera, a position, a renderer, and it seems like it makes sense to have a geometry interface. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go into my package .json and copy this, and then interface is st geometry st geometry. And then, oh, geometry. Tree. And then npm run geometry. And then we will have that. And then in here we have our geometry. Now, I think this all looks good. So let's go look at the camera. Okay, so geometry, I don't know. I think right now all the geometry has is a width, height, and a width. And that's a number. And then height. And that's a number. And then depth. And that's a number. And so, and you know what, I would think it's a good idea to add a type right now. We don't necessarily need that, and that is the text cube. Is that cube? Is that what that is? I can't remember. It's a box, actually. Box. And basically, we want to export that from our index. You think that's right? Think that's right, Rhett? I'm kind of excited because I'm gonna go into my job tomorrow. We don't ever have to go in. It's fully remote. But you know, I'd like to go in from time to time, just to kind of, you know, just make sure, kind of get the vibe, see what's going on with everybody. Oh, I misspelled from. And this will be the first time I get to go in while we're in session. So that's going to be neat because, you know, like all the senators and congressmen and press and all of them will be in the State House, which is right next to the building I work in. So I'll get to walk through. I'd like to walk through there and out. We have special employee doors. So that'll be really neat. Definitely looking forward to that. But I can't remember why I brought that up. It was like a coding thing. But it is important to keep in touch with your coworkers. All right, so we want to have our geometry, right? And so I kind of like how I did this, where I made it a separate one. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say that a renderer has to have a geometry. So I don't think we need that comma, right? st geometry. Tree. Colon. And st geometry. And then, so that's cool. Now we should have this thing break on us. And that is very ideal. So basically, st geometry. True. Colon. And then, you know, we could just do it here if we want. We can say width, and that is 0.2, I believe, is what their example gave us. You know what? I'm just gonna make it 1. I mean, like, why add that level of like having to think? And let's just go ahead and do it here. I was gonna try to. Well, let's do it here. Let's kind of make a point. Height is :1, and then depth is :1, and type. And that one's easy because it should just, yeah, box. And then I don't know what it says is, oh, comma. Expected a comma. Well, then you'll get a comma. If that's what you expect, that's what you get. So, yeah, I mean, we could do it like this too, you know, and then we could have our camera in here, and then, since this, I guess since this doesn't go too deep, there's no reason to do that. Now, this dot render st renderer dot geometry dot width. And fortunately, we can put all these on their own line. I'll just copy and paste this part. Height. And then this part. Depth. Now this should be interesting because I'm guessing, yeah, we just get a black because we're inside of it. And one thing I did learn right at the end of our last thing is that by default that all materials are one-sided. So I don't know if that's something that you pass in. I'm just curious. Param material. Material. And then parameters is mesh normal parameters. That is not helpful at all. So if I remember correctly, it was like you could, I don't know exactly how to do this. Oh, so it looks like you can go like this, maybe. And then mesh normal parameters. I'm going to say if I say a:1, if it'll give me like an error. This says, hey, we don't have a on mesh normal parameters. So I'm wondering if I go to this, go to definition, it should take me to my node modules, and then if I go to definition. So I think these are the three, or these are the parameters. So bump map, bump cell, normal map, normal type, normal scale, displacement map. So I thought there was a way to tell it two-sided, one-sided. I don't know. So, and I just don't think it's worth pursuing at this moment. I think the next, like when I make it to where you can do more than one kind of mesh, the next one is going to be a square, and I think that's one-sided. So so then, it, like if it's rotating the way ours is rotating, then it won't work. But anyway, so we're inside of our inside of this because we are sitting at point 0.5, but the um, item is at 1. I mean the width and height and all that. So we're sitting inside of it. So if I change it to 5, which is 5 times bigger than what we had before. Now that is interesting to me because, oh no, because we were sitting at, oh no, 2.5 is 5 times bigger than what we were at before. So we're kind of back to where we were, but I do like 5 better. And all that. And so when I started the last application, like that kind of stuff was just a complete mystery to me, and that is why I did not feel confident in building like a structure out like this because I just had no idea what direction they would go in and what kind of things I'd want. And like right now, I can just look at it and say, I know I'm going to want something like this, like a box, and then basically I'm going to want to be able to do that, do other things. Okay, so that looks like that's, oh, okay, and then material, there's nothing, we can't do anything with the material, right? The material just is like mesh normal material. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, so it looks like TikTok is going to shut itself down this Thursday, which that should be interesting. Um, the odds of it, TikTok, I guess on the markets, I don't really know that. I don't play the markets, but there's like these poly markets and stuff. Went from like 30% likelihood of getting shut down to like 78% on on Sunday, I think Saturday or Sunday, and so yeah, yeah, it's weird. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with that. Um, it would be interesting to know like what percentage of TikTok consumers are aware of this, and then if they are aware of it, it'll be interesting to see. Like, I bet, it wouldn't surprise me if it was like literally 90% of people on TikTok are unaware. And then let's see if they just flip out on Sunday. And then, like if it's just like, just like, just overwhelming pressure on people to fix it. There's like, people have a lot more ability to put pressure on authority figures than they are aware. I definitely have seen, like, like we had this business, and my wife had like 400 email addresses of customers, and she once sent out like the principal of our school had just put her foot down. She was not going to let our daughter out of calculus, and even though they had committed, they were going to let her out, but apparently there was like 23 students in there, and like 8 of them had requested and been told that they were going to get out, and so they all quit studying for calculus. And then the principal decided that they realized they would lose a lot of funding if the number of students dropped under 20. So the principal decided she wasn't going to let anybody out. And my wife just randomly sent out these 400 emails to her 400 customers saying, "Hey, can anyone help with this? Because my daughter, hasn't even been studying. She's going to flunk this class. It's going to prevent her from getting into college, blah, 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 blah." And like literally a half hour after she sent out those emails, the the principal called, dropped whatever she was doing. It was the middle of the school day, called her up and said, of course she would let our daughter out of. And apparently, like the um, head of like all kinds of different, like these 400 people were connected to dozens of people each, and a lot of them were connected to people who had a lot of authority and power. And these people started making phone calls, and yeah, it was just unbelievable. So I can't even imagine the power that will be brought to bear I mean, the pressure that will be brought to bear on our, what is it, 100 senators and 300 and 300 and some congressmen when like 50 million people are furious on Sunday. It's just going to be a sight to behold. It's going to be a unique thing. I don't think I've ever seen anything like what's about to happen in my lifetime. And because, just like, man, I don't know if the people that are making these decisions, like, it's hard for us to gauge, like, what kind of like, personal issues are likely to arise from banning something that so many people use. Like, and I don't mean, like, I'm not talking about like revolution or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, daughters and sisters and moms going, "What in the world are you doing?" I could just totally see, this some senators saying, "Yeah, literally, my mom called me up and chewed me out last night because she can't get on TikTok." Literally, and then yeah, literally my grandfather just took me out of the will because I voted to ban TikTok. Like, I don't. It'll be very interesting, because I think they're pulling on a string here, and I don't think they know exactly what could happen. So I am very excited to see what's going to happen. But anyways, what kind of parameters can you pass into, what was the name of that function, to mesh normal material? See if there's anything we can see, like if there's any value to this. Okay, opacity, transparent. I mean, I think all these things are really cool. Oh, side. Okay. Okay, so actually, let's go back to, because I don't really know. Like, this is just what I thought. But it looks like we can pass inside. And I don't know why that didn't show up in there. But if I make Z1, then we are inside of, or I guess we're right on it, because it was, so, point 1. Okay, so now we're inside of it, and now apparently I can do this. Side, and then I guess you go 3 dot. Oh my lord. Lorda, lorda, lorda. 3 dot double side. Side. Now, I think this means that we will be able to see the inside. Yes. I have literally been working with ThreeJS for a whole year, and this is the first time I've been able to see the inside of something. And I think that is really cool. So let's go ahead and create an interface for, well, what's the time? 24 minutes. Okay. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to create an interface for the meshes, and or for materials, and it'll have a type which will be like normal. It'll be very much like the way we're doing meshes, or geometries, where we'll just have one there, um, and then it'll have a side, and I'll have basically the 3 options, which are 3 double side, front side, back side, and double side. And so that'll be something we can set. So that will already have something that the old one did not. But yeah, that is coolio. Um, I kind of want to play with this a little bit. So I'm going to move the camera to 0. Since this is just a brand new thing, and it's like, it's crazy I did not ever know about this until the very, very end of the last set of videos. And the only reason I did was because we were trying the different geometries, and you just don't know what you don't know. So I guess it's done. Let's see. Let's go let's make it like uneven. So we're going to make it a 20 wide. Can't really see much. Let's see, 1 and 1. Save. I don't know. Yeah, it's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Let's go ahead and move our camera back out to 5. See what happens. So that's neat, and I wonder, I bet you it'll go through us, so then we'll actually be able to see inside of it. Maybe not. Wonder if I change the height or the depth to 10. So I think I can't tell if we're inside. Let's change the width to 2. Okay, yeah, that was pretty cool. You gotta admit, that was pretty cool. Um, yeah, that's neat. Let's go ahead and change our depth to 3. So that's cool. I'm pretty happy with that. I think, let's see, point 1. 1. Just want something cool to end on. And this is what we'll start on next time. Um, 5, 4. I'll make that one. Yeah, I like that one the best. So that is pretty cool. And I'm pretty happy with it. So anyways, 28 minutes. Happy coding. Bye.